Assalamu alaikum. Hello. We are about to start our third session. I think this will be the last session you see me. So after that, you will be relieved from my voice and so on. But I'm always challenging and so on. So the second session is coming, if you see in the agenda. It's charting the future of research and innovation in Jordan. It is chaired by a Jordanian citizen. Before introducing the Jordanian citizen who will be chairing this session, why did we choose this session? Actually, we want to see what is there in Jordan. To see what is there in Jordan and how Jordan can help. So we try to bring like who can help Jordan, like European Commission, like Medusa, like SESAME. And we also have Jordanians who will be saying about security, about what do they have in Jordan. So the sequence will be like we will invite each speaker to do his presentation and then have the seat back in the tables. And after they finish, we will have a short panel on the topic about Jordan. What do we have and what is it for? Allow me to introduce the Jordanian citizen. His name is Yusuf Torman. That's me. I'm coming to speak now as a Jordanian citizen, not as chairman or CEO of ASRM. So allow me as a chairman of this session, as a Jordanian chairman of this session, to invite our first keynote speaker, Professor Andrea Lausi is from SESAME, so I will leave it for him to present what do they have for Jordan. Andrea, please.
Thank you, Citizen Torman. And it's a great pleasure to be here and express something about what we do at SESAME so that can be of some help. So this is the building of SESAME. SESAME is one of the between 50 and 60 synchrotron radiation facilities in the world, and it is the only one in the Middle East. Next, please. Or do I have a mean to... So this is a picture of the inside. So it is a relatively compact 133 meters circumference machine with a medium energy, and it hosts several sources of photons of different energy, and these photons are used in a set of you can consider them as super microscopes, which use infrared, soft X-rays, and hard X-rays to explore matter. So we have at the moment 6 of them, and they serve an ever-growing community of users coming from actually not only the region but also from outside. So our footprint extends over 48 countries at the moment. We have a good publication rate with high average impact factor, and 20% of the papers have an impact factor higher than 7. So the science that we can do with these photons, with this radiation, covers very many different fields. And in particular, I would point out the fact that it is both science which is of international value, but also focused on regional interests. So like in the first example over there, this PNAS paper on a plant in the Arabic Peninsula which extrudes a complex of 12 salts in order to harvest water from air. So it's the only example that I know of a chemical mean to harvest water. Or obviously being the only synchrotron in the cradle of civilization, archaeometry is one of our highlights. You see there a little plaster figurine from the Jordan Museum. Green chemistry and energy, like down there with this, the catalysts down there are obviously of more general impact on not only regional, but for example, preeclampsia, it's a endemic disease, and finding biomarkers for preeclampsia has been one of the line of research of Jordanian University of Jordan in the past few years. And obviously also research on metal-organic framework, which is international and also national, as we all know, after the recent Nobel Prizes. So developments which are in course in this moment are this Turkish beamline at SESAME. This is, if you want, a change of business model. All the other beamlines belong to SESAME. This one is the first one which one of our members is installing at SESAME. So it is a success history. It is also the very first beamline built in the Middle East, completely built in the Middle East, and it is now in the so-called friendly users starting phase before becoming open to all users. Or we have a Palestinian European laboratory which is being built in these days, and this is an initiative which has born between Al-Najat University and the Max Planck Institute in Stuttgart, and has then evolved with connections to the CNR in Trieste in Italy, and will provide a set of instruments which are not otherwise available in the region for addressing problems related to advanced functional materials. Likewise, the Turkish beamline, this will have a privileged access to Palestinians, in this case, Palestinian researchers, but it will be, like everything in SESAME, also available to all other members. As it has already been remembered that we are a partner in UDROM Plus and UMED Plus, and we are a site for EduROM. So it's a very important development for us, because our users can come and immediately access the internet once in the building. We have an experimental data management policy which is related heavily to open science. So thanks to a project together with ASRA and with DataSite, we are assigning DOEs, and our IT group is at work to make this process as transparent and as easy as possible to our users. So they arrive, they start their own experiment. Metadata will be automatically saved, while the details of the sample, for example, have to be inputted by them. And then everything goes on. A DOE is generated, and the data will be searchable and findable, and we will, on a best effort basis, keep them for years. We have several training activities all year round. These are the next two. This is the 5th edition of a very successful online school that we do at the International Center of Theoretical Physics in Trieste, which is a level 1 institute of UNESCO. And it is an activity that we have started in 2020 with LAMP, so the Light Sources for Africa, Americas, and the Middle East and the Pacific project of IUPAP, the ESRF, the European Synchrotron Radiation Facility, and the African Light Source Foundation. And then another school will be instead follow. This is online and with hundreds of people attending. There will be 7 grants provided by UMED plus other attendees, but a very limited number at this efficient scientific computing international school, which this is the 2nd edition we organize together with the INFN, the Istituto Nazionale di Fisica Nucleare in Italy. And here you have the dates. Europe has been at the core of the help for SESAME from the very beginning. At the moment, we have these Sunstones, so it stands for SESAME Upgrading Network for Scientific Users Training and Outreach in the Next Era. It is a 1.5 million project, which is then complemented by another 500,000 by the Swiss government to support training and support the outreach of the facility. Another very, very important part of the support that we have received from Europe is in this picture. So the solar plant that makes of SESAME the only synchrotron in the world which is powered by solar energy. So zero impact in carbon and sustainability assured, because we spared at the moment 20 million euros with this plant since the beginning. SESAME is a member of LEAPS, is an associate member of the League of European Accelerator-Based Photon Sources. You see here a picture of all the other members in Europe, and this is part of a scenario in which the links between Europe and SESAME are getting stronger and stronger, as you can see. Also, not only we are very well connected, but we really provide a sort of privileged portal for researchers of the region to interact with the European facilities. Thank you very much.
We have to apologize. First, thank you very much. And we have to apologize because SESAME is one of the partners of the project, and actually it was skipped by mistake that we did not hand them the shield. So it's, if you accept that, I give you the shield.
Thank you. That's very
nice. Our next speaker is Ms. Hanina Bernou. She works with the delegation, European delegation in Jordan. So, Ms. Hanina, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Hanina Bernou. I work here at the EU delegation in Jordan, 5th Circle, and I'm in charge at the EU delegation for green business, innovation, and connectivity. And it's not a mistake that innovation is between green business and connectivity, because we see most of the potential innovation on the green transition and on the digital transition. And what is the foundation for innovation? Any guesses? Research, and that's why we're here today. So my ambassador already mentioned this morning the sectors that we're working on. I will further develop, because the question I understand is like, what is in for Jordan in our cooperation? Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate Jordan. You might have read the latest Global Innovation Index for 2025, and Jordan climbed from 73 to 65. It's considered one of the fastest growing countries in terms of innovation ecosystem. And coming back to my first point, research is the foundation for that. How do we as European Union are working with Jordan and strengthening this research ecosystem even more is basically to 3 ingredients that we consider key ingredients for the ecosystem. The first of all, it's infrastructure, research infrastructure. And Andrea mentioned SESAME and the support that the European Union is providing to SESAME. So as the research community in the region, I invite you all to take more active advantage of SESAME. SESAME is really a lighthouse of science diplomacy, It's a fantastic infrastructure that gives you access to different beamlines that you can apply in very diverse set of research sector. The crunchiness of croissant is my favorite example. But you can also research hydrogen topics or how desert plants are using the water in the air to produce water. So it's very versatile. So infrastructure is our first ingredient that we provide to the research mix and that we happily support as European Union. The second one is connectivity, and I think we'll hear more about Medusa later on, but another submarine cable that the European Union is supporting is Blue Ramen, connecting Europe with India via Jordan. And the part that the European Union is specifically supporting is the research community. So these cables will exist with or without us as European Union. What we are doing as EU is to support the fiber that will be provided to the research community. And why is that important? Because the amount of data that research is producing is already pretty impressive. But if you add AI and all the modeling to the equation, we're going to see an explosion of data that the research will need to do research and it will produce. So that's why we believe as European Union we need more high-speed connectivity, and I'm very happy to see Medusa coming to Jordan and Blue Ramen also connecting very shortly to Jordan. Which brings me to the third ingredient, which is basically the vibrant ecosystem. So as mentioned, Jordan already has a very vibrant ecosystem, which is reflected in this Global Innovation Index. But on top of that, the European Union is providing even more funding to basically harness all this potential. My ambassador mentioned this morning Horizon Europe, which is basically our flagship research innovation program around the world. Jordan is one of the countries eligible, others in the room as well. Basically for the Mediterranean region, thematically speaking, it's mainly climate, energy, and health. These are the three sectors that are basically eligible for funding on the horizon. For those of you who are interested, we have an info session online about these specific topics on the 14th of January. And then on the 15th of January, we'll have a matchmaking. So you might know that for Horizon, the idea is to have universities, but also private sector entities from the southern shores of the Mediterranean and from the northern shores of the Mediterranean / the European Union working together on research proposals. So it's not just about a university in Jordan applying. A university in Jordan will first need to find partners on the European side and jointly apply. So that's why the event on the 15th of January is quite important, because it gives you the chance to pitch your institution, but also pitch your idea on where you would like to do research under climate, energy, and health. The work plan for 2026 will be announced on the 16th of January. So that's why these two events are, I think, 15th of January. So that's why these two events are quite important to keep in mind. And they're both taking place online. There's another one that's taking place around the 20th of January in Brussels on food security, but I think it's more difficult then to join. Okay, Horizon. The second one is Prima. It was also mentioned by my ambassador this morning. Prima is basically a smaller Horizon Europe for the Mediterranean region specifically. Thematically, we focus on climate resilience, food security, and economic development. We're very proud to have Jordan as the first country joining the second phase of Prima. So Jordan is actually contributing financially to Prima, 4.5 million. And the funding is available again for all of Jordan, but also the other countries that are part of Prima. The next call will be announced in mid-2026 on these three areas. Then Erasmus+, some of you have already benefited, some of you know about it. Most of the people know about the mobility aspect, which is basically consisting in providing students and professors with the mobility to go to Europe and come back and have these exchanges. But there's also a capacity building component where the call was just published earlier, last month now, in November. And basically we're looking for proposals from universities to work on higher education, youth, and TVET. And the call is open until February, so I invite you to all have a look at that. And last but not least, we're also working with the private sector. So innovation doesn't only happen in universities, and it's actually really important that it happens also in the private sector, ideally in partnership with both sides. So we're working, as mentioned by the ambassador this morning, on a new project with the GIZ, which is basically looking at greener production processes, how to help companies in Jordan to produce their final product while emitting less. We're working with the fertilizer industry, aluminium industry, and future hydrogen industries more specifically, but we're also looking at reducing emissions for textile, pharma, and agro-food sectors in Jordan. So it's very much the technology aspects of producing greener. So basically that's what we have to offer. I think it's quite comprehensive. Feel free to reach out if you have any specific questions, need for clarification. Yeah, I think, let me just check. Yeah, maybe for I mentioned these 2 info sessions on the 14th and 15th of January. We actually have a website called euromedhub-ri-researchinnovation.org, where you get all the information that are relevant for the Mediterranean region in terms of like funding opportunities on the horizon. So yeah, check it out on a regular basis. And thank you very much.
Now to education. Allow me to invite Dr. Muneeb Tashman. He's the director of the Queen Rania Al-Abdullah Center for Educational Technology and Information. He's from Jordan.
Good afternoon. I guess it's very difficult to speak or to have a speech after lunch for the speaker and for the audience also. I'm Muneeb Tashman, Managing Director for Queen Rania Center for Education and Information Technology. The center is the technical arm for Ministry of Education in Jordan. We are responsible for the digital transformation in the ministry. And as we know, all of us now, it's digital transformation is not an optional now. It's a must. And we can't be behind all the surrounding countries around us. So we are working on many pillars in the Ministry of Education. We are working in infrastructure, on data gathering. We are working on AI, on cybersecurity, and on capacity building. So if you please just show I will summarize in one slide what we call it Ministry of Education Digital Transformation Micro-Strategy. We are working on strengthening an educational system through e-learning, students and teachers, development, update, curricula and monitoring tools, and digital initiatives. The IT strategic actions we are working on improve schools' digital infrastructure. Now we have more than 4,100 computer labs in our schools, on public schools. I'm talking about public schools. We are having more than 80,000 PCs in these labs. And we have an internet connection for almost all of our schools. All of our schools almost are connected to the internet and to data networking. We are working on improved learning management system powered with AI tools and education. Before almost a month, we launched a dedicated AI application for the Ministry of Education called Siraj. And I guess most of you heard about that. It is a teacher assistant, which assists the teacher and the student at the same time. It is a GPT, but mapped to the national curricula of the Ministry of Education. Improve digital skills for teacher through teacher training portal. We have a teacher training portal in the ministry, and we have a lot of online courses for the capacity building for teachers. And improve digital initiative portals. We have some initiatives, which is one of our projects in PPP, in public-private partnership. We have some initiatives, and this portal, anyone who likes to have any initiative in the ministry, he can apply and fill the form on the platform and then proceed with the processes in the Ministry of Education. We have optimized operational excellence, stakeholder-centric services, streamlined business process automation, and most of us know about ARIS platform, which we have the processes in the ministries and to re-engineer the processes for digital transformation and to be automated later. So we re-engineer of the processing and operations. Services digitalization, this year we will have more than 84 processes automated, and these services will be launched maybe within the third quarter of 2026. We improved the website on the global standards, improve decision making by big data management. We are one of the sectors that we are working on data gathering and with the Ministry of Digital Economy to have data warehouse in the education sector, then to be part of the data lake which Moody are working on now. We have a platform dedicated for the Ministry of Education. It was OpenMS, and now we are moving to another platform, unified one, calling Agile. All of you remember in the COVID-19, we have some platforms like Darsak and JoLearn and OpenMS. Now we unified all these platforms in one platform called Agile. Improving quality of education, quality control, quality of education, and accountability and examinations. And we are now working on digital exams. We are preparing for the digital exams labs and for item bank now also for the digital exam. We are working also on cybersecurity. We are now working as we have sectorial certs now, and will be one for the education, will be educational cert for the schools and for the universities also. There will be SOC in every university, and then will be cert in the Queen Rania Center to work on cybersecurity for networking and the data. Most of our platforms now are on the governmental private cloud, and some, because of the data governance and data privacy, the database will be on governmental private cloud, and services maybe be on governmental or public cloud. We have agreements with AWS and Azure and all IBM and all the vendors of the cloud computing. We are working also on gaming now, gamification. We have some robotics labs in our schools, and we are working with Microsoft on Minecraft. We applied Minecraft in more than 170 schools, and we are going for the expansion now for the second phase in using gamification in education. About KPIs, we talked about the number of BCs, we talked about the number of students. To know what is the size of the Ministry of Education, we have, for the public schools, we have more than 4,000 schools. We have almost 1.6 million students in the public school. And for both public and private school, we have more than 7,000 schools and more than 2.3 million students. We are linked to the EMV also and linked to the public sector modernization. We have more than one initiative and more than a project in EMV, and we are working on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Muneeb. Now let me invite my friend Damien Bertrand. He's the Chief Operating Officer for the Medusa Submarine Cable System. Everyone is looking forward to see you. And to hear from you.
Good afternoon to all the Jordanian people and from all the people from the other countries. I'm already amazed by when we can gather so many people from so many countries and how we are going to connect them. So this is Medusa that I'm going to describe in a few minutes for you, please. Now. So in one slide, so you can understand what is Medusa. So Medusa is a submarine cable system born to link all the Mediterranean countries at the beginning. And now we are progressing towards Middle East and Near Eastern countries. So we are going to land in a very important number of countries. So just to go one by one quickly so that you can understand. So in Europe, west to east, so Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, Greece, Cyprus, and Malta, that we have added recently. On the North African side, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, and Egypt. This is what we have been able to launch, and we are working on adding, recently we have added Tartus in Syria, and since June 2024, we're working on adding Aqaba in Jordan, of course. So I'm going to explain it a little bit more. So for you to understand, before the subsea cables, international ones, were from Southeast Asia to Europe, and having a few fiber pair only, shared by 10, 15, 20 different, what we call consortium members. Today it's very different. We have 24 fiber pairs, and they are not shared by several members of a consortium. They are dedicated. So we have what we call dark fiber pair. So it is the first time that the North African countries can really have diversity and full fiber towards Europe. This is the base of Medusa. So it's really a new way of working, and it is designed for North Africa at the beginning. And not a single system has so many landings. Usually you had 2, 3, 4, 5 landings in Europe, or in the Med, I mean. Here we are going to be almost at 20 landing points. So it's really, and the figures, so many kilometers of fibers, subsea fibers in the Med is really a new way of doing it. So I'm going to tell you where we stand today. So first, when you build a submarine cable system, you have to make a lot of studies and what we call the survey. So we have to have the ships really going into the water and making the survey on the route you have planned. So we have done all the job on the Mediterranean side, except, as you can see, the Tartus branch, because the agreement was signed a few weeks ago, and we didn't have time still to make it. But for all the other countries, the survey routes are already performed. Then, after you have made the survey, you have to manufacture the cable itself. In our case, this is Alcatel Submarine Network, a European vendor that is manufacturing it, and it is tailor-made. It's really according to your survey route that you manufacture the type of fiber and cable and so on. So what you see in orange is what we have manufactured and installed until now. I will tell you a little bit in a few slides more, but this is what we have deployed. And what you see in blue will be done lately, and we will reach beginning of 27 Port Said, which is of interest for Jordan. I'm going to give you a little bit more of details. So here, maybe it's not easy to read, but it's when we will be ready for service in different countries. So the first line, you see what I've just said, that Morocco, France, and Tunisia are almost in service. It will be at the beginning of, at the end of this year, or beginning of, it's a matter of weeks now. But what is important, I believe, for you is what we have at the end for Aqaba. So it will be first half, at the end of first half of 2027. I'm going to give you more details on that. What I would like to do in a few slides is to show you how we build a system, a submarine system, which is a very long and complex operation. So first you have to negotiate a contract with a vendor. So just to give you, it took us more than 1 year just to finalize the contract with Alcatel Submarine Network. And we did sign it in 2023 to have it in force. So just for you, the dates I have just given you, it's you have to start 2-3 years before in order to have your system deployed and ready. So after the survey I've mentioned before, they are manufacturing it, and then you have the site acceptance test. It means that everything is built, the cable, the repeaters, everything that is needed, and we test it in the factory to check that absolutely everything is working. Then, after manufacturing, you have to load it. So here it's an example. It was this summer between July and August. So once the cable is ready to load, we load it on a vessel. Here it was a small vessel, let's say, to save time to go from Calais. It is in the north of France that the system is built, and we took it to Sicily to store it a few months. And then it's in a tank. As you can see, the cable itself, even if you have hundreds and hundreds, or even in that case, we had about 1,500 kilometers of cable. It is loaded in one tank, as you can see. So everything takes a lot of time because even the loading, it goes at 3 or 4 kilometers per hour. We cannot do more because we have people really walking and taking care of it. Then this ship is, and you have a repeater loading, for example, over there. And then we took it, and after that, you have to install it. So we install it, of course, at sea, but here I want to show you what we have done the last few months. In October 8th, we did perform the landing in Marseille. So here you can see Marseille, it's south of the Bay of Marseille. Vieille Chapelle Beach is the name. And this is where we could land the cable. So you have a cable ship like this one. To give you an idea, it's about 110 meters. So it's really huge means that are used for that. And this is physically, we put the cable in the water and we pull it until the beach. So, and this is the result of what I've said. You have to sign in 2023 to have, at the end of 25, for example, Marseille landing performed. And before that, in Marseille, we had to work. You have to prepare what we call the landing infrastructure. So this is the beachman hall. In Marseille, in that case, we had to perform a direct drilling of 320 meters. And so it's a lot of work, and we had to perform that before the French Olympic Games that were in Paris, but sailing ones were in Marseille. So we had to end that before 2024 in order to welcome, if I can say, the cable now in October 2025. So again, this is a lot of work that has to be performed. After, once you have the articulated pipes, you can see in black, and then you have what we call, so you have the landing point, okay, with the beachman hall, and from there we have what we call the front hall, which is the connectivity between the BMH, and in orange and blue you can see until what we call the cable landing station. This is what is needed, and after the cable landing station, on the right you can see, we have a fiber ring in order to interconnect with all the main data centers of the city. This is Marseille, but it's the same for Barcelona. It's the same for the main European cities where we land. So this is what we have to perform as work, to build really the infrastructure in order to welcome the cable. So it was Marseille. Then on the 1st of November, it was our first African landing that that was in Bizerte. Bizerte is north of Tunis, in Tunisia. And we could land that day with very nice weather conditions, because also you can lose 1, 2, 3 days if it's not the case. You can see that there are two, well, three. One is for us, let's say, but there are two customers in Tunisia. It was Orange Tunisie and Tunisie Telecom. So they welcomed the cable, so we had all the teams of the operators with us, and it was the second landing of Medusa. Here, the diver, it's what we call articulated pipes. It is what we install in order to protect the cable in the first meters, where you cannot still bury it, let's say, and then at sea, after more or less 1,000 meters depth, we don't protect it anymore. So now let's go more to, and I will add that we are landing on the 18th of December in Morocco, in Nador. So now let's focus on Jordan. Jordan, of course, we cannot reach Jordan from the Mediterranean Sea. So what we have done is in summer 24, we have signed in Egypt. So we land in Port Said on the Mediterranean Sea in Egypt. And we have signed in order to build a new fiber ring of 650 kilometers. Maybe it's not easy, it's white, but to see. But it's between Port Said in Egypt and Taba in Egypt on the Red Sea. And then from there is a new submarine link named Coral Bridge, which is between Taba in Egypt and Aqaba in Jordan. And then we will reach Aqaba Digital Hub, the new data center in Aqaba. So here you have a few details of that, but what does it mean at the end of the day? It's that Aqaba is like a new landing point of the Medusa submarine system. It means that once you are in Aqaba, you are in Marseille or Barcelona or whatever is the point you are interested in Western Europe. So this is really a big step ahead, and it will be ready, as I have said, for us on Q2 2027. What will it bring to Jordan in a few advantages, if we can describe? We are fully open. It means that all the West European, the European landings are fully open. Someone can, from Aqaba, says to Marseille or to Athens or whatever, in Europe, it's fully open. On the North African or Jordan or other countries, it is, of course, subject to local regulations. We are not a Jordanian operator, so this is the way it is. Then, capacity, of course, is going to be really different because, and as I said before, it was some consortiums that had a few fiber pairs shared. Now we have full fiber pair dedicated to some customers. I will explain in a few slides for Géant what we have done and all together for Jordan. And also, of course, a submarine cable system is designed for 25 years of duration. It means that it's really for one generation. So it means that the students or kids of Jordan today will be able to benefit from such an infrastructure on the very long term. Of course, here, the universities have to deploy their national network, but at international bandwidth, we are really changing the game. And of course, with that, Jordan will be more integrated into that capacities with Europe or with the Mediterranean. Quickly, just to explain who is Medusa, or who is doing Medusa. Afrix Telecom is also our company, so we are a company based in Barcelona, in Spain, and we are an operator, a telecommunication operator, dedicated or specialized until now between connectivity between Africa and Europe, mainly. So we have 18 subsidiaries in Africa, mainly Western and Central, and this is the mother company of Medusa. Then the European support also has been very important, so I want to describe it in 2 slides. The first one is what we call the CEF. CEF stands for Connecting Europe Facility. So those are grants, and I would like really to highlight that because in the last 3-4 years, not only I am talking about Medusa, I'm talking about the European Commission has been supporting several submarine initiatives from European companies in all the seas, in different geographies, and it has been vital for some of them in order to make it happen. So here are a few examples, but this is one of the tools that Europe has used in order to support the project. And now, one slide also, I would like to highlight what we have done with Géant, and today is one of the reasons why we are here, because it was 2 years ago, it was in November 23, we signed, so the agreement was signed between the European Commission, because it was their will, with the European Investment Bank, and Géant, as the European Research and Education Network. Those are the 3 parties of this grant to support Medusa. What are we delivering for this? In the map you have seen at the beginning, we are going to have 1 point in each of the North African countries where the NREN networks will be able to have a connection with 2 points in Europe, which are Marseille in France, Yeroskipos in Cyprus. And also what we have done, I believe, is very important at the design level, is that the fiber that is dedicated for that will allow the North African, or I should say now more than that, Arab states, universities to interconnect with each of them without going through Europe. It's not mandatory. It means that tomorrow a university from Jordan will be able, with one from Tunisia or from Morocco, to exchange directly and to work together. This is what we are delivering thanks to this agreement with Géant, and then with ASREN, what we are building, let's say, together. And here, this is the Géant map that I have taken. And we are just to explain that in several landing points, Medusa is bringing really a new connectivity possibility. So, as I've mentioned before, you have Nador in Morocco, Algiers in Algeria, Bizerte in Tunisia, Port Said in Egypt, and we will add, because we are building it, Aqaba for Jordan. And as I said, we have also on the European side. And you can see a render. This morning, there was some Luis from Red Clara, and you had from West Africa and from East Africa. So this is a puzzle we are completing all together, and we're working on it to make it with more connectivity. Thank you very much.
Now back to Jordan. Let me invite Dr. Ahmad Al-Oqaili. He's the director of the National Information Center for Science and Technology. Dr. Ahmad.
Thanks for the invitation from us and from this conference, this very important conference. I would like today to talk about empowering research and innovation through data and collaboration. It's about building a national foundation for open science. Okay. Before I start, I would like to talk a little bit about the National Information Center for Science and Technology. It's one of the centers that affiliated with the Higher Council for Science and Technology. And the center aims to provide high-quality information and knowledge to support the goal of sustainable developments. Now, we have 6 objectives associated with the center. It started from data collection, and here we are talking about the data collection from related to science and technology and publication and researchers. So this is the main task of the, what do you call it, the Higher Council for Science and Technology. Data analysis is to analyze this kind of data, either to, for example, to drive the research performance indicators, for example, or any related issue to science and technology in Jordan. Information management, to manage information to drive sustainable development. The end goal of the data is to have sustainable development goals achieved in one way or another. Develop a national research database. This database has to maintain a comprehensive research information hub for easy access and use. And this kind of database would include data related to research data, raw research data. So this is what I'll be talking today about. Collaborations, we talk about the collaborations between the national and international institutions. So this is what will drive us to the next objective, tracking Jordanian scientists abroad, is to monitor their work and achievement to support the national scientific research and innovation. So this is the main objectives of the center. Regarding Jordan research ecosystem, it lacks of unified infrastructure for accessible data, computing resources, and it is difficult because of that, it is difficult to conduct open, collaborative, and impactful research. Now, we are talking about several challenges starting from research data is expensive. Most of the time, it's expensive to collect, and even after we collect this kind of data, sometime we will lose this kind of data from different institutions or the researcher who collected this data, or the other thing is the data is siloed. So we need to have a platform to get all of this kind of data to one place. Fragmented infrastructure and limited access. This is another issue with the infrastructure, including the laboratories and the high-performance computing facilities in Jordan. Reliance on non-local research platforms. This is another problem. Most of the research in Jordan relies on, for example, to run their experiments on other like cloud service. And we are talking here about security and privacy of the data, so we have to be careful about that. Limited data reuse across institutions. Some of the data sets that are collected from one place, we can't use it again because the data is located somewhere and we can't access this kind of data. Unequal access to computing resources, and this is another issue. So all of this issue hinder the Jordan's ability to achieve open, fair, and impactful research. What is the solution? At the National Information Center, we offered a solution called JSTEP, Jordan Science Technology Innovation Platform. This kind of platform can support a national open science initiative, and this is the way we aligned with ASRIM for different issues related to open science. Our goal for this system is to enable open, collaborative, and data-driven research in Jordan. So we are looking to have one system or one platform that brings all the people, researchers, and data in one place. And the solution have several advantages, including central secure storage for research data. So we'll have a central place for the research data, and we are mainly talking here about the raw research data. A fair aligned data management is to offer the option of the fair concepts in open science, which is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. Open collaboration across university and research centers, so we can share this kind of data in one workspace, let researchers work together in one place. We are talking here about high-performance computing. We're talking about AI-powered solution, the solution that can be offered through GPUs. Up to this point, I do believe the Jordanian university don't have this kind of facility. What we're going to do as a platform here is to offer a high-performance computing that allow 30 virtual machines or 30 researchers to log into this system and use the system. Building an online portal for researchers, this is very important, it's going to be a web-based service. Host national data challenges and support skill development, and this is one of the main issues when we are talking about research. Sometimes we are talking about the data that have challenge, so we need to work in this kind of challenges, and this kind of data will support skill development, either for researchers or students or academics. So the main idea of this platform is connecting Jordan's research data, people, and innovation. The project, or JSTEP, is a platform that provides secure data storage. So we're talking about security for data that we, as a raw research data, shared computing, shared facility, collaborative digital tools, including the software that we need to develop for the, to provide researcher with. So we're talking about empowering researchers, policymakers, and innovators in advancing science, technology, innovation, and sustainable development in Jordan. This kind of platform would be considered as a national platform for accessing research data and computing. It has to be secured, scalable with the amount of data that we get, web-based portal for researchers to access as a virtual machines. We are talking also about integrated features such as virtual notebooks, data governance issues that we have to apply to this kind of data, and shared workspace for researchers. Also, we're trying to support national and international research collaborations. And here we are talking about, again, data sharing between researchers in one workspace that the national and international researcher can come together and work in the same kind of data. The JSTEP portal provides real-time collaboration and virtual notebooks. This is one of the features that we need to have a notebook or web portal. The system will allow user management. This kind of management, including registration, authentications, and dashboards. It allows data management. It allows researchers to upload, store, and manage public-private data set. And here, when we talk about the private data set, we are talking about the data set that can be uploaded as a metadata, and then a researcher, for example, need to sign a data usage agreement to get this kind of data. Model repository, even for the models that we produce, model storage and documentation can be offered. Notebook experimentation, including interactive notebooks, experiment tracking, competition management, again for data challenges or for some kind of challenges, we can offer competition management for submission and evaluation also. Community interactions, including forums, discussion, and even researcher networking. The proposed architecture for the system, actually we don't have, I think, the time to talk about the proposed architecture, but usually we can show the upper level architecture where we have data storage up to the presentations layer, including the notebook. All this kind of layers has to be managed and configured in a proper way. For the JSTIB services, is the service that we can get from JSTIBs is fully supporting open science practices, including high-performance computing, where we need high-performance computing, including GPUs for AI-powered solution, support large-scale computation across various scientific domains when we talk about large-scale computations. Also, the platform has a service for data storage and management, including secure and scalable storage, solution for extensive research datasets, metadata, and access control supporting fair data sharing for the system, virtual research environment for the researcher to work on a specific problem or challenge with integrated tools and data and workflows. Also, we're talking about research software and tools. So the systems is going to offer all the softwares for the researcher to use instead of each university or each institution based for his own tools. We can have one research facility with all research softwares and tools. Also, consultations and support services, expert guidance on research design, data management. If we have your solution for a specific problem, you can show what is the architecture for the solution or how you design the solution so others can benefit from this kind of service. If we are talking about infrastructure, skills, and policies, that will be equal to sustainable open science ecosystem. What we offer in the JSTIBS service for supporting research area, so when we talk about research area, we are talking about a wide range of scientific and interdisciplinary domains. This would include computational science that have intensive computational power to be applied. Also, we're talking about data-intensive research, discipline involving large data sets, including genomic or social network analysis. The system will also cover collaborative interdisciplinary studies in the same system where we will integrate method and insights from multiple fields. Research employing computational tools to analyze and interpret humanities data such as textual or human or cultural heritage digitizations. We are also talking about environmental and earth science, studies focusing on ecological systems and geospatial analysis and environmental impact assessment. So the JSTIBS as a project will support all this kind of research area that researcher would need and apply. The JSTIB actually align with the Jordan Digital Future and research priorities. It is strengthening national research visibility and supporting the Higher Council Science and Technology, the Higher Council for Science and Technology objectives and strategies, and also for the center's objective and strategies, and also support the idea of open science. So the system would have support for Arabic and English language, also boosts Jordan research visibility. This is one of the important things, is also the publications and research performance or research work can be uploaded to this system, show it to others. We will align with the National Information Center for Science and Technology and the Higher Council priorities also. Link this system with the National Open Data Platform, including the Open Data Initiative offered by the government, where they have their research data uploaded to this kind of system. As a summary and next step for this project, we are talking about connecting researchers, data and ideas together. In this system, in these systems, we will have a centralized research data and enable scalable computation. Also building a connected research-oriented ecosystems. This is what very important for Jordan. We are now in a stage of stakeholder alignments, prototype. We have already done our prototype launching, national expansions. For the next step, for the system to be scalable, we need to be and sustainable. We need to secure funding and also early implementation phases for of its phases. As we don't have time, there is another project that also we are working on. It's about the research performance indicators in Jordan. So in this project, we're applying AI-powered analysis. We will have a dashboard for automated sites, benchmarking and forecasting, and national research trend analysis using AI. So the main idea is to apply, for example, measure the research performance indicators in Jordan, also benchmark Jordan with other countries, and have a better figure for the Jordan research performance indicators. This also would enable the Higher Council for Science and Technology and Ministry to allocate funding strategically, monitor national science, technology, innovation performance, and also strengthen Jordan's global research visibility. So this is another project I would like. I think we don't have the time to go through it, but we are also working on this project, and we have done you can say a full prototype of the system, but we need phases. That's all. Thank you very much.
I think the speakers are very happy with the presentation of Dr. Ahmad, that there is no time left for the panel. But we still have our last but not least, Professor Saleh Al-Sharaeh. He's the Executive Director of the Jordanian Universities Network. Dr. Saleh, please.
السلام عليكم. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me here. Give me an immense pleasure to be among you with well-respected researchers. And thank you all for giving me a chance to talk a little bit about Jordan University networks, JUNets. Actually, before I start, we just finished a few months ago a European project, Armenia project, that lasted for 3 years. And that project needs a lot of data, works, and connectivity and high-performance computing, since we are using sentimental analysis. And that's called for sometimes high-performance computing and connectivity. And we are glad here in Jordan that we have this vision. Back in 2003, His Majesty have the vision to have Jordan to grow a digital economy and connect Jordan so that everybody in Jordan got connected. So our leadership, they have the vision to connect Jordan, that everybody in Jordan get the connection and the connectivity, that he will have access to information. That's for the users. Also for the researchers, as you know that connectivity is highly important as well. So that decision was back in 2003, and I don't know why you select 20 years ago a picture of me back in 2006. But so that's mean I'm still in the market, right? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Yusuf. Okay. Okay. So JUNet. So we have the vision to help shaping the future of research and cooperation of Jordanian University, and our mission to have the most reliable interconnection software and ICT services possible for all shareholders and higher education sector as a whole. As we all know, and this is not directed to you, but to it's most of us are education networks. But as you know, education networks it's a network that provides connectivity to everybody, that connect research center, that connect universities, or any entity actually that need connectivity and high performance computing. I think Dr. Ahmad, he did something to the mic, right? Dr. Ahmad, okay. To be honest with you, I'm trying to change the mood a little bit here because, as Dr. Muneeb said, after this lunch, and there is no coffee, but I went and I grabbed some coffee, so I'm a little bit awake now. Okay. Okay. So, as you know, it's very important for NRENs. It's very important actually to have such, an infrastructure for university that actually will enable us as a whole become one unit. And if we do the sentimental analysis, which is the last project we worked on, actually, whenever we have more communication, our idea become more levelized and we grow more. And we have more interaction and understanding. As you know, we have, I don't know, we always call it giant, but my friends usually call it another name, giant. Giant, okay. I hope I'll take a French course in this project and start calling it. But I always, actually, giant is always in my head for the last 20 years. The success they made in Europe and help they try to provide to other countries actually make me proud. Okay. As you know, Jordan, the infrastructure as a direct management of JUNET, we have 11 public sector university, which is start from Jordan University, Al-Mouk University, Just, and the others. And the board of directors got elected from the General Assembly, which is composed of all Jordan University presidents. And this is the power of JUNET. Actually, the decision maker for the university is actually the one they are running the network. So, and that's so that for us, we are more close to the decision makers, and that will help us actually to grow more with our ideas and our vision. And the beauty of JUNET actually, maybe not just that. It's virtually, JUNET is all the ICT directors in the public sector university. So, like Dr. Isa here and Dr. Zakaria on the other side, we have all kinds of expertise from applications, database, cybersecurity, networking, and all this body actually compose JUNET. So we have the front end, the upper management, and the horizontal part actually, oh, I forgot Engineer Ganas and Muhammad Saida. Sorry, I forgot, I was in rush in the morning and I forgot my glasses. I'm glad I can see some of you. Okay, well, this is the edge, right? That's a glass, I always, I'm glad that, the driver license department don't see my picture, otherwise they will ask me to wear the glasses, which is I hate actually, Sometimes in your age, you try to, go against, the time that you go through. But even though we are going strong with our direction, our aim to grow JUNET as much as we can, because in Jordan, as you mentioned, we exceed all the levels, from entrepreneurships, digital transformation, education system. Our education system and our graduates are well known in the regions. We are the strongest education system. Thank you all actually for all, they built that generation of education system and they still build on it to make our graduate a very distinguishable, not just in the region, but as international-wise. And And you see here a glimpse of the infrastructure that we have here, and we see that the J unit actually go all across Jordan. That grows our university from like Ermout, Just University in the north. We have Al-Bayt in the east. We have even Al-Bayt. They have. It's hard to to hug Al-Balqa University because they are everywhere. It's like sometimes you think that your wife everywhere watching you, so that Al-Balqa actually is always everywhere, and that's making very beautiful university. And we have JGU University and Islamic University and others. Sorry, I did not mention all of them. Here, just a glimpse, and this is what we like. It's like we have a very beautiful picture. This is the most beautiful picture to me. Actually, what we have here, we have the 10 gigabytes, and we have a pub that actually will provide the internet, and that's redundancy in the link, which is we have high capacity. And as you know, we have a demand for data and application as we grow. We start with maybe 7 years back with 2 gigabyte. Now we went to 2 gigabyte, 4.3. 2 years after, we have 4.5 giga, 6.5 giga, and now went back up to 7.5 gigabyte. And that's a demand. That's actually, if we go and have some little bit of prediction, very closely in 2 years, 3 years, we'll go back, will exceed the 10 gigabyte. And that's what Medusa project will come to point here. And that's what the help actually we are looking for from Medusa and AU to help us actually, meet the demands for the Jordanians. And actually here, and in parallel with that, we have the National Broadband Network, which is a vision of King Abdullah to connect Jordan under this project. And this project very close to be there. And actually, we have like some kind of parallel connectivity along, what we do and what the government would do to actually to help us have more connectivity. As you know, the demand for data and data transfer and exchange of data demand more connectivity. And some universities, like I see here, 1 giga, but this connectivity actually you can grow it up to 10 giga. So as they need in the future to exchange data, research-wise, we can make them grow. And actually, maybe 7, 8 years back, we have all kinds of cabling and wiring in this network, but now most of them, almost 98%, it's fiber optics. So the lay ground for the infrastructure is there, and it actually will be there for good. And all these universities are also connected through interconnected, fully redundant mesh through the internet service provider. In this case, because every 3 years we have a tender, now we have it with Orange. No doubt, actually, I don't want to have a long lecture, but no doubt that actually there is a significant change of having an NRN in Jordan. And as you know, we'll have a high-speed connectivity. We can enhance research cooperation. We can have big data exchange by providing this connectivity and this infrastructure. Okay. Actually, also and that's actually our dream, to have access to high-performance computing through Giant to the AU. Just recently, with the help of SESAME, thank you guys, and you're always helpful actually. They provide us with a cluster for HPC. We talk a little bit about it. That actually will make it like a model for high-performance computing. From there, we can jump and start the culture of doing that. But as you know, it's kind of limited computation-wise, storage-wise. But with the help with Giant and the others, actually we can grow and help each other. As you know, the services we provide with JUnit, we have high-speed internet with clean pipe security. We have low-cost SMS, Microsoft licensing. Also, we provide to the universities. We can provide a cloud services through Azure, through our agreement with Microsoft. as CCK, actually, they talk about what they do in Tunisia. Actually, we kind of doing it, but through Microsoft, through our tender Microsoft. We have a cloud of OneDrive and Microsoft 365. We always, sometimes, most of the time, we provide training and security awareness. We do some kind of cybersecurity testing, like voluntary evaluation and penetration testing. We always do, those guys in the corner there, we always do monitoring the network. Sometimes, the SAC center with the provider is sometimes not enough. So sometimes, most of the time, we keep looking with the tools that we have, if there is attack, if there is something going on wrong. Also, we have a library system called Horizon, and Horizon actually is a library system that, all universities, they share the same database for all research all over the world, and that's, we support the community with it. We also do the technical and maintenance support for member-aware universities. Sometimes we have a technical, or most of the time, we have technical meeting and conferences sometimes. Okay. As we said that the HPC service, as I said, again, thanks for SESAME for doing that. So we have this cluster. Actually, we already did the training, finished the training part of it. So also they help us SESAME with that. And actually, we do this culture across the university. We will do training, and will be accessible over the internet. And we successfully connected to Giant. Will be able also to share these resources, and they share us what they have. As Dr. Muneeb mentioned before, he's mentioned about CERT. So CERT, with the help of Moody and Queen Rania Center for Learning, we will have a CERT that actually will do for all universities through the center to the NCRT, right? مركز الوطني للأمن السيبراني. I forgot the name, with the Moody also. NCS, okay. As we said, it's a Crown Prince initiative, Ministry of Higher Education directives, aim to develop a comprehensive cybersecurity approach tailored for Jordanian higher education. Okay. I will stop here because I'm going to your area. I'm afraid that after we leave, but actually, what I'm trying to say here is JUNIT, maybe it looked like the board of directors or the general directors for present universities, but we have all the technical team with the tag team for all the directors for JUNIT for the universities. Also, recently, we allowed private sectors also to join us. So far, we have 5 universities join us. We try to grow more and more, provide better service for all universities or in general for the education sector in Jordan. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Saleh. And thank you all speakers are no longer panelists, because the organizers are timekeepers are telling me that we should finish 20 minutes earlier. However, the objective of this session is to gauge, do we really need Medusa, or if yes, I can answer, because the presentation of Dr. Saleh about the bandwidth and the demand. Dr. Saleh, I think we need Medusa, but I think how to make use of it and how to be prepared for that. That's why we are here, to help how we can be prepared for Medusa, because Medusa is coming. The presentation of Damien is maybe, let's say, 1 year and 1.5 years, whatever. So let's work together for Medusa. I think this is the conclusion of the session. We need Medusa, and we need to work all together to make use of it. By this, I have to conclude the session and leave it for the organizers, or the timekeepers actually. I'm the organizer, but the timekeepers to see what's next. The session is over. Thank you.
You can join the coffee break next room, please. But could we please come back in 15 minutes so we can continue the discussion open science? Thank you.